What's up, friends? This is Coach John here at CrossFit Liberate, bringing you another at-home workout. Today is Friday, August 14th, and this one's called Bye Bye Bye. So we've got 3 5-minute AMRAPs. Each 5-minute AMRAP is separated by 5 minutes of rest, and each of the AMRAPs will include a buy-in of some burpees. Once we get done with those burpees, we won't go back to those, and instead we're gonna work through rounds of line hops and different types of squats. And then our score for each AMRAP is gonna be rounds and reps of those line hops and squats. We'll keep track of all 3 scores and then add them all up for our final score. All right, let's take a look at our warm-up for Bye Bye Bye. We'll go 30 seconds each, starting with slow shuttle runs. Next, we'll go into some line hops. Down to the floor for some glute bridges. Back to our shuttle runs, this time moderate pace. Back to our line hops. Next is glute bridge walkouts, getting those feet as far away from our body as we can and then walking them back. Back to the shuttle runs, this time a nice fast pace. Back to those line hops. Finishing out with some Russian baby makers. Again, a great stretch for the bottom of our squat. And then for our mobility work, we're gonna hit an odd object ankle stretch. So using the weight of that object plus our torso to drive that knee forward of the toe, get a big stretch through our calf, Achilles, and heel. And then we'll finish with a wrist stretch, 30 seconds with fingers pointing straight ahead, 30 seconds with fingers pointing back towards the knees. All right, let's take a close look at Bye Bye Bye. So we have 3 5-minute AMRAPs. The first 5-minute AMRAP starts with a buy-in of 40 burpees. And then we'll go into max rounds of 30 line hops and 30 air squats. You'll rest for 5 minutes and go into the second AMRAP. Buy-in here is 30 burpees and into max rounds of 30 line hops and 20 odd object front squats. You'll rest for 5 minutes and complete one more 5-minute AMRAP with a buy-in of 20 burpees into max rounds of 30 line hops and 10 odd object front squats. So we're working through 5 minutes and then 5 minutes of rest in these 3 faster paced intervals. Each AMRAP begins with a buy-in of burpees. After finishing the burpees, you won't return to those. Instead, you'll complete max rounds and reps of line hops and squats. Your score for each AMRAP will be total rounds and reps of line hops and front squats. Your final score will be the sum total of these 3 scores. With burpees, to make sure you have enough time for the score portion of each AMRAP, the burpees should take no longer than 3 minutes for the set of 40, 2 minutes 30 seconds for the set of 30, and then 2 minutes for the set of 20. And these will be standard burpees. Hit your chest and thighs to the floor, jump up or step up out of the bottom, reach full extension with a small clap overhead and some air under the feet. With your line hops, the line hop number is designed to be incredibly small. This should be a number you can complete in 30 seconds or less. Adjust the number or variation as needed. If you have a jump rope, today would be a good day to use it, and you can complete single unders or double unders. With your air squats and front squats, we'll complete bodyweight squats in the first AMRAP, and then for AMRAPs 2 and 3, we'll load up our odd object with increasing loads. You'll have time to add weight to your odd object during the 5-minute rest period. As the weight increases, the reps will decrease. And for all rounds, choose a weight that you can complete in 1 to 2 sets. And then as always, further movement subs and modifications are in the video description below. All right, our focus for our movements today, starting with the line hops, is gonna be to stay in frame. Try to limit unnecessary movement in your line hops outside of the movement required to clear the body over the line with each hop. This focus on efficiency and a tight movement pattern will manifest in less fatigue across all your rounds today. On our squats, let's focus on trapping a piece of paper underneath our heels. If we're squatting only through the front of our foot, we're going to be unbalanced while burning out the quads. If the quads are burnt out, we limit our intensity and will likely have to rest more. Keeping the heels glued to this imaginary piece of paper allows for the big muscles of the posterior chain to get into the mix. Throughout the whole squat, we shouldn't be able to pull this piece of paper out from underneath our athlete's feet. It is really obvious when the heels come up in the squat, but let's look for subtle shifts today. These little changes can go a long way. With our burpees, let's talk about a quarter squat. When jumping or stepping up out of the burpee, we want to do so with a slight bend in the knee. This allows for a quick transition from the landing portion of the movement right into the jumping portion of the movement. Landing with straight knees or locked legs makes it more likely that we will land on the toes and makes for a slower transition from the ground to the jump. So some strategy advice for this workout, starting off with our burpees. So these are a buy-in. We need to move at a nice strong pace to have time for the scored portion of the workout, but not quite an all-out sprint. We want to be able to finish our set of burpees and get right into the scored portion of the workout. So move at a pace that allows you to do that. So with your line hops, these are pretty small sets. So we're ideally going to be able to go unbroken on these. If you need to, take a little bit of extra rest before moving into that set of line hops so that you can go unbroken. And then with your squats, aim to get started with your set thinking about just getting to the halfway point. This is going to help you get into your set right away versus resting a little bit longer thinking about going unbroken on your sets. So get started with your squats thinking about getting to the halfway point. If you get to that halfway point and you're feeling good, try to finish out the set. If not, take a quick break, get right back into it, knowing you already have half the set done. All right, y'all, make sure you get after this workout with some intensity. As always with CrossFit, we want to bring intensity to our work. And then make sure you're tracking your scores in some form or fashion, whether it's a notebook or an app like SugarWOD. We want to be tracking progress. That's how we know we're getting fitter. And then if you plan on coming back to the gym, cannot wait to see you back here in person.